Moving forward, we have SAM-FAP rule. This is used in GP lenses, and SAM stand for steeper add minus and FAP Flatter Add Plus. What does this rule mean? This rule is basically designed to describe the effect of changing the base curve of contact lens on TL lens power. Uh, when we say that steeper add minus and flatter add plus, do remember that we are saying it with reference to the cornea. If the contact lens is steeper than the cornea, then we have to add minus power, and if we fit contact lens flatter than the cornea, and then we have to add plus power in calculating the net power of contact lens. And we are comparing this steeper or flatter with the flattest meridian of the cornea. You must remember this as well. So why this rule happens? To understand this rule, we must know what is TL lens. It is a tear layer formed between the GP lens and the cornea, and this tear layer has optical power which contribute to the overall power of the contact lens. So when we fit contact lens steeper than the cornea, then a plus tear lens is formed. I'll show you with the diagram how this is formed. Let's suppose this is cornea, and I've put contact lens more steeper than the flatter meridian of cornea. Then you see here the tear lens formed here. It has a shape of a convex lens, which means that it has a plus tear lens power, that it will create additional plus power in the contact lens. Then to compensate this additional plus power which we do not need, we should add minus into our final refractive correction. Obviously, to neutralize plus you need minus. Similarly, for flatter GP, when you fit contact lens flatter than the flatter meridian of the cornea, then minus tear lens is formed. Let me show you through diagram. If this is the cornea and you fit flatter contact lens, then obviously this tear lens here created is more like a concave shape. It has a minus power. So to neutralize this, you should add plus power into the net refractive correction or net power of the contact lens you will give. So we have discussed this steeper base curve. You have plus tear lens is created, and you have to add minus power to GP lens power. For example, if you made 0.1 millimeter steeper, so 0.1 millimeter is approximately equal to 0.50 diopters. So you made steeper, additional power we have is plus 0.5. So to neutralize plus 0.50, we should add minus 0.50 into the net contact lens power. Similarly, in the case of flatter base curve, if the flatter base curve is used, obviously minus tear lens is formed and you have to add plus lens to the GP power. If 0.1 millimeter flatter lens is used, then approximately you need plus 0.50 diopter power into the final prescription of contact lens. So to understand this, that how I'm saying that 0.1 millimeter is equivalent to 0.50 power, we use a rule which states that 0.05 millimeter change in base curve is approximately equivalent to 0.25 diopter power of the tear lens. So if we double that 0.10, it will become 0.50. And you must remember that if you fit the lens steeper, then this power that you will add into the final power must be negative, and in case of flatter lens, this power is positive. And we can understand this relationship in two forms. One is millimeter, where you mention the base curve in millimeter, and the other is diopter. Diopter is relatively easy to understand. If I say that I fit contact lens 1 diopter flatter, so we know that flatter add plus, so we will add 1 diopter into the final lens power. But if I say in millimeter, then you have to calculate. If it is 0.05 millimeter, then the power will be 0.25. If it is 0.1 millimeter, then power will be 0.50, and so on. Let's do a clinical example to understand it in a more better way. So the original lens has a base curve of 7.8 millimeter. The power of the contact lens used is minus 3 diopter. So we have changed the base curve to 7.7 millimeter. So we have basically decreased the base curve. Decrease the base curve in millimeter means that we have used a steep lens, and the difference is 0.5 millimeter steeper. So recalling the same rule, steeper add minus. That means that I have to add minus. How much minus? 0.1 millimeter is equivalent to 0.50 diopter. So the contact lens power original was -3. Then due to change in base curve, we are adding minus 0.50. So the net power of the contact lens will be minus 3.50. You must remember that this rule is applicable if all the other parameters of the contact lens are same. So for quick revision, SAM and FAP. SAM means steeper add minus lens into the final contact lens power. FAP means flatter add plus lens into the final contact lens power. And steeper GP lens creates a plus tier lens, so minus compensation is required, and flatter GP creates minus tier lens, and therefore you need plus compensation.